Okay, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is day 2 of a 3-part series on how to advocate for yourself at work. Because there are a lot of people out there telling you that you have to advocate for more resources, more opportunities, for jobs, for promotions, for raises, but no one is teaching you how. And I can do it because for decades, I was a trial attorney advocating for myself and my clients in the courtroom. And most importantly, teaching witnesses how to do that as well. And we won. And now I help witnesses still in trials, but I also help people like you advocate for more time, more money, more resources, more attention, promotions, raises, all of the things. And so this 3-part series is teaching you how to advocate for yourself at work. And the first step that we talked about yesterday is know what you want. And that, yes, is in the big global picture. I want to be the CEO of my own company, or I want to be the CEO of this company. But then it's also getting very minute and saying, what is the first thing I want that will get me to that big thing? So if you missed yesterday, we dive into wanting what you want, knowing what you want, breaking down your big want into little wants so that you can ultimately move on to this step, which is to ask for it out loud and with delight. Now, I coach people one-on-one, and I also have a membership, and people love this one. They struggle with it, but they love it because once they learn to ask out loud and with delight, everything changes. And really, a lot of this is about choice. You choose to ask out loud and you choose to do it with delight. I love talking about choice. My first book was called The Elegant Warrior, and the root of the word elegant is to choose. It's the same root as elect. And I believe that your life is completely and 100% the result of your choices. And so here you've got to choose to ask for what you want out loud. Number one. And then you need to choose to do it with delight. So let's talk about the out loud part. It's sort of, some of you might be thinking, well, of course you have to do it out loud, dingbat. But many times we don't. Let me give you 2 situations where we don't ask out loud. One is when we are too focused on manifesting and not focused enough on advocating. So when you are like that, you create vision boards and you write in your journal and you make a list of all the things and you write to your future self and you write about your future self and all of these things, which I do and I love. And once you do that, you have to figure out who the universe is giving you that will give you the thing you're asking for. Because just to say to, I call it God, you might call it something else, just to say to God, I want this thing, please let me have it, is not often enough. You often also have to say to the employer, I want this promotion. I want this opportunity. I want this help. I want this raise. I want this, whatever the thing may be. If you're a CEO and you're going to your board, it's not enough to put on your vision board that they allow you to expand. You need to ask the board to do it. If you're a founder and you're looking for investment money, it's not enough to put dollar signs on your vision board. You need to ask investors out loud for that money. And so manifesting and advocating go together so thoroughly, it probably deserves its own podcast. But you have got to ask the person who can give you the thing out loud. And that is a choice. It is a choice that you have to make, even when it's scary. It's less scary to draw a picture of a dollar sign than to ask someone to give you money. But you have got to ask them out loud in order to get what you want. So that's the first situation where I see that we're not asking out loud. The second is very common for women, and it's common at work and in your personal relationships as well. And that is that you give what you want to receive, and you think that that is asking. Let me show you what I mean. And a good example is at home. Well, you know what? I'll give you an example from my work when I was a young trial attorney. So I started working at my firm when I was still in law school, and my firm had 2 named partners who were amazing mentors, bosses. I could not have asked for better. And I was really, really fortunate because I started trying cases very soon after I passed the bar and I was off to the races. I love trying cases. I was good at it. It hit all of my talents and experience. It was chef's kiss. And every year we would have reviews. And every year, of course, I wanted a raise. I mean, of course. Doesn't that go without saying? Of course, I wanted more opportunities to do things and to travel and to speak at judge conferences and so forth. Of course. Isn't that a given? I work so hard. I took on a lot of extra things. I was the co-chair of the medical legal committee and I did a lot of pro bono work. And I believed that the partners saw that I did those things. And I believed that they would understand that that meant that I want a raise. But I never asked them for one for the longest time. I thought it was implied and they should infer it. Those two words I always have had trouble with. So imply is when you do the thing believing that someone will understand the hidden meaning. And infer is when someone takes the hidden meaning from something you say. So I believe that I had implied and they should infer that I want to raise. But I didn't ask for it out loud and with delight. And because I didn't get the raises that I wanted. I got raises, but I never got the raise that I thought I deserved. I never got the raise that I wanted until I started asking for it out loud and with delight. And when I did, I did. When I did ask out loud and with delight, I did get the raises. And I see this with my clients all the time. And it's very dangerous to not ask for what you want out loud and with delight because you will often resent it when you are not getting what you want. When you think that you are asking by implication and people should just figure out, obviously you want this thing, then when you don't get it, you feel resentful. And that energy is the opposite of delight. That energy does not get you what you want. You cannot advocate with an energy of resentment. And so it is incumbent on you to find out who can give you what you want. And just like we talked about yesterday, it might be one person, then another person, then another person. But you find that person and you ask them out loud. It is a choice, but you've got to make that choice. And yes, it is scary. Yes, it is hard, but advocating can be scary and hard, but the rewards are so worth it. You get jobs, you get promotions, you get raises, you get opportunities, you get experiences, you get what you want when you know how to advocate. And so the first choice you have to make is to ask the person who can give you the thing out loud. I want a raise of $10,000. Tomorrow we'll talk about the mastering the art of the ask, the specific ways to ask it. But today we're really focused on making that choice to ask out loud. Asking is a choice. Now, it's an action, right? And so you can probably all see where asking as an action is a choice because it just makes sense, right? I choose to ask or I choose not to ask. It's a choice. But the with delight part is a choice as well. But yes, you have to choose how you are going to feel when you ask for what you want. Let's go back to that resentment piece. That resentment piece of if you think you've been asking by inference or implication or by hinting, or a lot of times we also see if you give what you want to receive. So you give and give and give and give because you believe that it should just be understood that you want to receive the same. You are going to feel resentful when you don't get it. And resentment is something that other people feel. The person that you're asking, if you ask with resentment, is going to feel your resentment. I recently read a book called The Lion Tracker's Guide to Life. Highly recommend it. I'll put a link to it in the notes here and in the show notes on the podcast here, meaning I'm pointing to YouTube. So this is on YouTube if you're listening on the podcast. It's a podcast if you're watching on YouTube. I will put a link to that book in the show notes. In that book, the author, his name's Boyd, I think, he takes you through being on the Sahara and tracking a lion. And one of the things he talks about is that they were intercepted by a leopard, and leopards are dangerous. And the leader of the tracking group is someone who had enormous experience with animals and out there tracking. And the leader slowed down and changed his body language, changed his energy. And he talked about that being the language of animals, your energy, The way that you approach a situation is something that animals feel. And we are animals. We are primitive creatures. And your energy is something that people feel. Energy is something the people around you feel. When you come into a room and you're about to ask for something with resentment, they feel it. And if you ask for something with delight, they feel that too. And so before you go in to advocate for anyone or anything that you want, you have got to get into the energy of something good, something that vibrates high, something that people are attracted to, magnetized to. Delight is my favorite. Delight is my favorite energy to aim for. But, and I work on this with my clients, sometimes you can't get to delight. Sometimes you can get to curiosity or wonder or resolve or determination. All of these are stronger, better energies for asking for what you want than resentment is. And they are all choices. Now, one thing that I know for sure is that your energy usually comes from your belief. In my work, I have the BEAR formula, BEAR, and we go into what is your belief that's creating your energy, that's leading to your action, that's creating your result. And so if you believe they should know I want this thing, then your energy is resentment. Your action is to whine or demand or fight or yell. And the result is that they know you want the thing, but they don't want to give it to you. Whereas if the belief is, I am the best person for this thing, everyone involved will be served when I get this opportunity, then your energy is delight. The way that you ask is out of service and delight and excitement and showing the evidence and enthusiasm about all the reasons that you are the best person. And the result is you are the person who gets that role. So asking with delight is imperative, and it is a choice that you make. And the way that you make that choice is by choosing what to believe. If you believe they don't see me, your energy is going to be insecure, overlooked, frustrated, resentful. Your actions are going to come from that place. And the result is going to be they do not see what you bring to the table. But if your belief is they're going to see me, they're going to recognize me, they're going to appreciate me, I can't wait to show them what I've got, then your energy is going to be delight. Your actions will come from that place. And the result will be that they will be excited to see what you've got. Here's something I want you to remember. Energy is belief made visible. I'm going to say that again. Your energy is your belief made visible. If you are coming into a room with enthusiasm and delight and positivity and shoulders back and a smile on your face, that is your belief made visible. And if you are coming into a room with shoulders slunched and face down and frown on your face, it is your belief made visible. There are days, I lost my dad in May. The summer was very hard. My belief that I should not be going through this, it wasn't fair, this is hard, all the things definitely reflected in my energy. And there are days that the best you can choose is maybe honesty, telling someone I'm having a bad day, I'm grieving my father. That might be the best energy that you can choose. But you've got to recognize that your belief is a choice. We have urges all the time, but you don't take action until you believe something about the urge. I'll give you an example for me, cookies. I have the urge to eat cookies a lot, but I choose to believe that not eating cookies every time I want one is taking care of myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the things. And so I don't take action on that urge. The belief is where the choice begins. And if you believe that what you bring to the table, what you're advocating for, what you're asking for is going to serve you and others, you will, I promise, get closer to delight. And then we will be able to work through that bear. The belief leads to the energy, leads to the action, leads to the result. I often think of it as a Care Bear. That shows my age. The Care Bears and how they would shine from their beautiful little hearts, all of the energies that they were feeling. You do the same. And so do that with yourself. And if your belief is leading to an energy that is not going to help you to advocate, choose a different belief. If you need help with this, this is what I do. We do it with evidence. Reach out to me. I will help you. The other thing that's worth mentioning here is something that I call the belief triangle, because it's not enough to, when you are trying to get into the place where you can ask for what you want with delight, it's not enough to believe in yourself. But many of us struggle just with that. But the belief triangle is 3 parts, and you have to try to hit all 3 parts so that you can truly get to delight. The first part of the belief triangle is believe you. When you make yourself a promise, you keep it. When you set yourself an expectation, you meet it. And when you can't, you own it. That's the believe you side of the triangle. The second side is the believe in you side. That's where the talent, the experience, the passions that you have, the smarts that you have, your curriculum vitae, your resume, that's the believe in you piece. And then the foundation is believe that you can help them when we're talking about others, and believe that you can help yourself when you're talking about yourself. Because when you believe yourself, if you believe yourself that, you know what, if I ask for this thing and I don't get it, I will be just fine, that's going to increase your delight. If you believe yourself that when I ask for this thing, I'm going to do it in the most effective way, mastering the things that Heather's going to teach me tomorrow, that's the believe you piece. The believe in you piece is all of the evidence that you have that you are the best person for this opportunity, this role, this raise, this bonus, this investment. That's the believe in you piece. And believing you can help yourself is believing that you have your own back, that no matter what happens, you can get back to delight, that you will not falter and you will not give up. You will just keep going. And when you have all 3 pieces of that belief triangle, first with yourself, that you believe yourself, you believe in yourself, and you believe that you have your own back, then tomorrow we can move on to mastering the art of the ask so that others believe you, believe in you, and believe that you can help them. But today you really, really, really want to focus on the choice to ask out loud the person who can give you the thing that you want. So important. And then to do it with delight. Also a choice. That choice starts with what you're believing, because your energy is your belief made visible. Tomorrow, we dive into mastering the art of the ask. Okay, you know what you want in those little tiny wants that lead up to the big thing. And now you are ready to ask out loud, and with delight, you are in full belief. You know who you're going to ask. You're going to do it out loud. Tomorrow, we're going to get to how to master the art of the ask, how to ask, what to say, and how to say it. The part that so many of you want to skip to. Tomorrow is the day. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you're not, so that pops up for you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I have much more of this stuff coming here on YouTube. And be sure to reach out to me if you have questions or comments. On Instagram, I'm at An Elegant Warrior. Here on YouTube, you can just plop your questions in the comments and I will answer them. And I would love to know what you're struggling with so I can answer those questions on the podcast and here on the YouTube channel. I will see you tomorrow with the specifics of mastering the art of the ask. But in the meantime, as always, take good care.